Hello, YouTube. How's it going today? How is your week so far? I worked from home today. We went and did our groceries, and my husband's playing some video games right now while I do this stream. And has anyone watched any of the preseason for NHL? I've been watching some of it. It's pretty fun. There's teams games where it's mostly the rookies who are playing, and sometimes they play against the more veteran team. So you'll have guys who are mostly AHL players playing against the top guys of other teams. So that's always fun and interesting. But let me know if you've watched any of the NHL preseason games. I would like to hear what you think. Hey, Mr. Ranger Lab. Thanks for joining. Today I'm excited to talk about someone who I think is a financial coach who I've seen on YouTube quite a bit, and I don't really appreciate his approach. I want us to look at his online budgeting course, and it's actually a reasonable price, but I still have my problems with this. His online budgeting course that will help us gain control of our finances. And then I want us to look at the content of his YouTube channel. We're not going to watch any of the videos, but it's hard for me to fully believe that this person is just truly trying to help people when we compare the content on his sales page versus the titles of his videos on his YouTube page. I have some friends. Anastasia's here, Lisa, Demi, hello, Tori. And Mr. Ranger Lab says, no NHL preseason games, watching the end of the baseball season. I love that. I hope you're enjoying that. And if I am paying money for financial advice, I am going to pay an actual financial advisor who knows what they're doing, who has education in this area. Because just like our friend Danielle Ryan says, just because say you were able to run a successful business or you were able to get yourself out of debt doesn't mean we should be charging others to help them get out of debt too. So this is Caleb Hammer's website, The Financial Audit. Master your money, everything you need to get out of debt and improve your financial situation. It's time to actually take steps to control your future and live a better life with my proven budgeting method to get you where you need to be financially. Oh, Anastasia's still watching CFL. Nice. My issue is if we are in such a financial insecure time, right? If we're struggling with budgeting, if we're struggling with our rent, if we're spending money on financial advice, it should be from a professional. Should be from a professional. Because I don't know about you, the times when I was struggling the most financially, I would not have had an extra $147 for lying around for non-emergency items. If I was really wanting to get some financial advice, I probably would have needed to ask my parents for help. But sometimes based on my experience, there's not always something we can do to get out of a financial situation. My thing was I had just finished school and I was working full time at a not very good job, but I was very lucky to have it, but at a not very good job while also searching for a job related to my career. Somehow I was still managing, I was still able to pay my rent, buy food, pay my bills, but there's nothing I could have done in that situation other than get a career job, right? There's nothing we can do because finances are hard, the job market is hard. Go Phillies. Cleveland is doing well in baseball this year too. Oh, I love that. So why is this so big? Because I did unzoom it. Or at least I thought I did. It's so big. I want to watch this video. But I can't put it into full screen. It's so weird.
Here's the thing. Americans are spending money they don't have, going into endless
You mean they're dying on the Walmart floor? And can you guys hear this? Before I go into it was only 4 seconds. Did you guys hear what he just said about Americans going into debt and dying on the Walmart floor? Please let me know. I don't like the fear mongering. He's wanting us to buy his $147 course because he's telling us that everyone is going into debt, that Americans don't know how to budget, that the situation is just so dire that we all need budgeting advice. Budgeting advice is wonderful, but like I've said already, it's very important that we get our budgeting advice, if we're paying for it, from financial professionals. I'm going to play it for 10 seconds and then can you guys confirm that you can hear it, please? Because I think it was for the New York rental market video for a lot. I went back and I looked. Some of my videos that I showed you guys, you couldn't hear it, and I felt really bad. Okay.
Is not inevitable. We can take control today, change our lives, learn how to budget, and make our future matter. But just like me, the majority of
our future matters, even if we're struggling with budgeting. It does matter. I don't like that. Your future doesn't matter if you're struggling with a budget. That's a weird thing to say. And sometimes horrible financial things just happen to us and it's unfortunately completely out of our control, right? Sometimes it's out of our control. Bad things happen and there's not always a way out. Oh, thank you, Anastasia. I appreciate that. There's not always a way out, right? Like sometimes your spouse can get fired or you have to go on disability, right? I learned to budget from my parents, but I definitely believe budgeting should be taught in schools. Exactly. Oh, okay. The speech is offset from the video. Interesting. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, can hear him dying on the Walmart floor is what he says will happen if you don't plan for retirement because we won't be. Oh, I didn't get that. Thank you. And we need him to plan for retirement, not financial professionals. Because I remember my negative experience. I went to a bank to talk to an investment advisor. I hated it because they assumed that I knew what I was talking about, even though I did not. They didn't explain anything to me. They just read off the sheet. I left really upset, not knowing how to invest. Talked to my dad. He talked to people and he connected me with financial advisors who actually teach. And the lady who I connected with actually sat there and talked me through all of my options. We had multiple phone calls, and I actually made a really good financial decision that will help me plan for my retirement. At a relatively young age, I'm already doing a lot of planning for my retirement because of working with an actual well educated professional in the field. Yes, it shouldn't be something you have to pay $100 to learn. And if you are, have it be from a financial professional. And at least in my area, there are classes. If you are really financially vulnerable, there are classes that we can take from free classes we can take from financial professionals where you can learn these things for free. Exactly, Mr. Rangelab. Exactly.
Americans are never taught how to actually budget, how to stick to it, and given the resources necessary to achieve these goals for a better future. So I surrounded myself with some of the smartest people there are, and we created the best budgeting class that could be found anywhere online. Months and months ago, before we ever decided to do this thing, we took all the top budgeting classes there are anywhere online. And let me tell you, I'm not going to name any, but they are inadequate. They either apply to only one person's situation, or they're one size fits all, or they're not providing any resources, or they're
Sorry, I'll let him finish. I'm noticing myself freezing a lot, so I'm just going to take myself off camera while we're watching his introductory video.
just plain too expensive. We decided to
So
make
of course there are so many other budgeting videos you can access online, but all of the others are inferior, and his is the only option that will actually help you change your life, will actually help you take control of your finances. It's not like we've heard that from every single business coaching guru ever on the internet on this channel. You're not unique, Caleb. You're not. And the sad part is, I like him in this video. Like, he seems to have a down to earth, more mellow personality, but his videos on his channel, I really don't like his approach. Because I don't think if someone is in a financially vulnerable spot, one should be yelling and swearing at them, in my opinion. But then the people see his videos and they apply to come on the show. So I guess they know what they're getting into, but I just really don't like his approach on his channel.
The most comprehensive program that has ever been made in the history of budgeting online. And we
How do you measure that, sir? How do you know it's the most comprehensive program in the history? What are your measures?
didn't just decide to do that, but we also decided to make it at the cheapest price we could find. We want to make sure this is accessible to anyone. Now, when it comes to budgeting, a lot of us, we create an initial budget, but we just don't stick to it. One, a lot of those budgets are unrealistic. And two, we just don't have the discipline or the knowledge to actually continue with it. And that's a massive part of this program, making sure that you're able to not only build the budget that fits your specific situation, but that you're able to continue with it and create that better life. So
What are your qualifications? We know, I think there's an about Caleb section somewhere. I don't remember where it is. I don't remember where it is, but he is not, and he said he's not a financial professional. He's worked with professionals to build the course. I want to talk to someone who has education in investment advice or who's a financial advisor. I'm going to say the same thing over and over again. We're going to let this finish and then we'll look at the sales page.
we made sure to build out multiple different budgeting situations so that the vast majority of people out there can have a situation that applies to them. We've also spent days and weeks building out programs that automates your budget and shows you what you can do to pay off your debt. But this doesn't just apply to people in debt. This also applies to those looking to improve their financial situation and look forward to a lucrative retirement. So if you're like the vast majority of Americans and you've struggled at budgeting, this is the program for you. For the first time in your life, take control of your money and take control of your future.
Yeah, Mr. Ranger Lab, I completely agree. I was watching some of his older videos on his channel, and he had a very mellow personality. Sometimes he'd get kind of frustrated, but he wasn't screaming at people. And now, like you said, the reactionary titles, it's a little strange. It's a little bit strange, and we're gonna look at that for sure. I liked his older videos. I liked his older videos for sure. In my experience, credit unions can help with a lot of this knowledge base for free. If you have no idea where to start, they can be way less predatory than big name banks. Exactly. Hey, Neil, it's lovely to see you. We're looking at big YouTuber slash financial coach. I'm just zooming in so I can read it. Financial coach Caleb Hammer's budgeting course. Everything you need to stop living paycheck to paycheck and take control of your financial future for the first time in your life. I don't know about you. I already said this, I'm going to say it again and again. When I was living paycheck to paycheck, I could not afford $147 because that is, I don't know how much. I don't know how much that would be for groceries. Let me think. 149. Maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of groceries. 2, 3 weeks of groceries. So if I were to take Caleb's course when I was incredibly financially vulnerable, I wouldn't have been able to buy food. So for $147, which is more reasonable, we've seen on Danielle Ryan's channel that there's courses for thousands of dollars. This was more reasonable, but again, it is still out of reach for someone who is incredibly financially vulnerable. It is. And they should not be spending their money on this to get help from a YouTuber who doesn't actually have financial background, financial education. Do you guys think I'm being too sensitive? I don't like the financial coaches who are helping vulnerable people for a price online. I guess it's different. We could have a different conversation if they were actually educated in the area though. 48 video lessons with Caleb. We show you how to build a budget and how to make micro adjustments that could save thousands over the course of a year without giving up the things you love. I don't know. When I was financially vulnerable. I would not have been able to save thousands over the course of a year because every dollar I had was allocated to a specific budget line. An in depth budgeting plan you can stick to. Your comprehensive budgeting plan will help you get to your financial goals no matter your income or financial situation. Not, I was making like barely any money. I don't know how I paid my rent. I would not have been able to meet my financial goals. I'm not been a- I would not have been able to meet my financial goals with a budgeting course. I wouldn't have. Okay, I watched him too. His qualifications is that he was in massive debt when he was younger and never budgeted. He got himself out of debt and is in a good financial place now. Yeah, and if anyone watching this is like has had help from Caleb or has like a different opinion than I do about this topic, like feel free to jump in because I know he's popular. He probably has lots of people who really like him. Could be lots of people in this chat or like in who watch this later. I'm always open to like talking about or different opinions, different thoughts, you know? Hey Tanya, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. All the budgeting tools you need. You will get all the tools that you need, including a budgeting spreadsheet, retirement calculator, debt repayment calculator, and grocery calculator. Gotcha. Do you struggle sticking to a budget? Are you overspending regularly? Is that overspending coming from impulse purchases? Do you simply struggle with the discipline of saving money and also paying off debt? A lot of the people who are on his show do have really bad spending habits. They'll have cars with horrendous loans with incredibly high interest rates on it. They'll be running around wasting their money and then going to their families or their parents to support them. And that's one thing, right? That's someone who has a lot of debt, who is not being smart with the money that they do have. But then there could be another person who is working full time in a minimum wage job and is just simply not making enough to survive, right? Because if you're simply just not making enough to survive, covering your food and your rent, then it's not an overspending habit. It is not a lack of discipline habit. It's the fact that the workforce in the United States is incredibly unequal, not unequal. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The minimum wage in the United States is way too low and is not anywhere near enough for someone to provide for themselves. We should be able to work full time and be able to pay our bills and have some left over. I'm totally up for people with an interest or personal experience discussing topics, but I've talked to pros in no way equates to having a degree and years of practical experience. I do not like the way he treats his guests. Much prefer Roman Fear. Who is that? Because I've been doing some research on other guys and I've been seeing some who have similar shows to Caleb, but they're really nice and they're calm and they treat people with respect. Okay, I could be showing you guys this. Yeah, okay, I'll look into him. I'll look into him for sure. I just the reason why I wanted to do this video is I don't like the way maybe I'll show you. I'll show you some shorts because Caleb has shorts where he's just like yelling at people. I didn't plan for this. But yeah, we'll look. We'll look at some shorts. Okay. Where are we? With 10 different budgeting scenarios to choose from, you can find the plan that works best for you. We cover budgeting around low income, budgeting with bad debt, no bad debt, on variable income, and much more. I don't know what bad debt means. We make this easier by showing you how to make major cuts to your budget while still being able to spend on the things that make you happy. These cuts could mean hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars more for you and your family over time. Sure, that's great if we are making a reasonable salary, but we are just not able to save or spend appropriately. But if we're making like minimum wage at Walmart, then how are we supposed to make those changes and potentially accumulate hundreds of thousands of dollars more over time? Talking to a pro and finding success shouldn't give someone the right to claim to be a pro themselves now with no other training and to speak over actual pros. Yep, I agree. I think finances are so important too. I wouldn't, for me personally, I'm totally open to discussion. I wouldn't want to get retirement advice from someone who doesn't have a background in helping people plan for retirement, like an educational training background, because it is very important to do correctly and it's easy to do wrong if you don't know how to do it properly. Finally, reach your financial goals with us. We make sure to provide you with as much detail as we possibly could so that you have everything you need. And the off chance that we do miss something, we'll listen to your feedback and update the class. Good. We don't believe anyone is in a box. We aim to address your specific situation and make sure that our advice is catered to where you are at in life. Whether you're just starting out or debt free and on your way to riches. Okay, I didn't. Oh, that's weird that that was a separate sentence. Okay, we wanted no doubt that this class will help you reach your financial goals. No upsells or supplementary materials are needed. At $147, you have everything you need to create an effective budget that you can stick to. With no expiration, comma, or no expiration date, comma, there should be a comma. This class will be available to you as long as you need it. All future updates to this class will also be available to you at no further charge. That's good. Yeah, I think I've seen this Roman fellow. He is a lot calmer. Good. Feel like this is for people who have decent circumstances. Okay. Okay, but are living outside their means rather than actually struggling low income people. Okay, fair. Fair. Maybe I'm looking at it from the wrong perspective, right? Because I could have had help with budgeting the very limited amount of money that I had, but I couldn't have made cuts because I had no money, you know? Oh, good debt is like a mortgage. Bad debt is credit card debt and things like payday loan debt. Okay, what about student debt? Is student debt would be bad debt, right? If you want to have generational wealth, join an MLM, right? So this is a financial YouTuber slash coach, and we're looking at a relatively cheap financial or budgeting class. And I wanted to look at him because of his approach to how he treats his guests on his show. And a little ways up in the chat, there was a suggestion, Roman something. I don't remember his name. I had it in my YouTube, who does similar videos, but he actually is very nice to his guests. And we're gonna watch a few of Caleb's shorts. And Mr. Rangelab did say his past videos, he was a lot calmer and much more respectful than he is now. Now there's a lot of swearing, a lot of yelling, and it's just not conducive to someone actually learning financial skills. Sorry. Ah, fuck. Sorry for swearing. You shouldn't be swearing. But I'm a grown up. I can swear. Where am I? Okay. Okay. See what everyone is saying. Check out how Caleb's budgeting advice has changed the lives of people just like you. This guest is awesome. What does that mean? Caleb has such a huge heart. His guest today needs love and support. Sometimes bankruptcy is nature's do-over. Your advice is so helpful. You're like the only YouTube channel that informs people on debt that is invaluable information I've desperately needed. Hey Caleb, you seem like a great guy, very genuine and a well rounded positive mindset and character. I love the audit videos. Keep going, man. If you have a low income, budgeting out $5 isn't going, yeah, exactly, to amount to thousands like he's describing even over years. He's either selling a lie or or does not truly mean low income. You're probably right, Demi. Like he probably is not marketing this to someone making like $12,000 a year. Because if they're making $12,000 a year, how are they supposed to budget and save? Okay, that's good. I felt bad, but I'm like, no, I'm not at work. This is a hobby. I can swear if I want to. Ah, student debt could be good or bad based on how much it is and whether it is able to be paid back fairly quickly. Interesting. Oh, yeah, I agree. It's very predatory. The interest rates are outrageous. Oh, who's Sally Mae? Sally Mae? Oh, I just hit my microphone. Excuse me. Sally Mae. Sally Mae. Oh, Sally Mae is a consumer banking corporation. Are they predatory? Are they bad? I'll look into that. I'm gonna write it down in my phone. I'm gonna write it down on my phone because if I don't write it down, I'm never gonna look into it and I'll never remember. Sorry for going off topic a little bit. Sally Mae. Okay. Oh, they were the leader in student loans. So are there a lot of like private companies that provide student loans? Is it not through the government in the United States? Or is it both? Is it private companies and the government? I was having a shit fit because my internet bill went up $23. Oh no. And my carrier wouldn't do anything to lower it. That's terrible. That's awful. Oops. My loans got taken by Navient, but were originally through Sally Mae. They got forgiven this year. My school was also a scam. Demi, I feel like you've said that before, but I don't remember because I think you brought up the idea of looking into those scam universities in the United States. I think I remember you talking about that. They literally show you different documents that you would actually sign. We're looking into Sally Mae. Wow. My school too, Demi, the Art Institute. I was there for radio comm and broadcasting. Wow. So there's like a whole private industry for student loans. And are the interest rates outrageous? Probably. This course has no magic pills. We simply walk you through building your budget using a systematic approach. We give you all the time tested tools we know to make sure you're maximizing your money. How to save hundreds of dollars a month. How to save hundreds of dollars a month without sacrificing your health and well being through small changes to your budget. Now that I know we're not focused on people making $12,000 a year, I like the idea of basic tools to save hundreds of dollars a month, but there are things that just happen in our life that we're not always able to control, and we can't always save that amount every single month. So I hope there's education in his course that says you should aim to save hundreds, you should aim to save this amount per month, but you may not be able to do it every single month, and that's okay. You know what I mean? I had student loans of 20K leaving over me for 15 plus years and never made a dent. Oh no, that's terrible. It was huge at the end of the 90s and into the 2000s. Wow. Wow. AI loans should be in the process of all loans should be in the process of being forgiven, but it may depend some on which school and when. Student loans are terrible. Our budgeting system that helps you stick to your budget. Spend less on groceries. How to eat sustainably and still spend less than $300 a month on groceries for an individual. We do not skimp. We make sure to eat well and meet caloric needs. Okay, sure. That's nice. Teach me to Sorry, I shouldn't have touched my Oh, AI equals art institutes. Okay. I shouldn't have touched my microphone. It's great to teach someone how to spend less money on food, but I think sometimes it's not possible to spend less money on food when if we have dietary restrictions. Because if we have dietary restrictions, we can't just go buy normal bread. We might need to buy gluten-free bread, and it's going to be more money. And is $300 a month for someone who does not have dietary restrictions? Is that good? Three So that's like $75 a week. I feel like at maximum, I spend like $90 a week and I don't really pay attention to the amount of to what food I buy and I don't try to budget. So I'm $60 more than that at maximum at $360 a month and my low end is probably like 65. 65 times. Yeah, I feel like $300 is not it's not that good. Like, 'cause I'm around there and I don't try to budget. What do you guys think? I wish my grocery bill was 75 a week, but if you have children, it can't be, right? I'm thinking of just my food because I live with my husband, of course, but we get our food separately because we like to eat different food at this point of our lives, right? And so my bill for me only is like probably a 65 to 90 just for me, depending on what I feel like at the moment. Yes, 300 US is higher. You're right, Anastasia. Totally. I was in Chicago from oh 04 to '07 and mine were forgiven. Maybe you'll at least see some stuff stricken from credit history. Oh, I was just looking into prices for other internet carriers and who I already have is basically it's as far as what is currently available at my address. Oh, that's so stressful. Because it's like, oh, only 23 extra dollars, but that's a lot. Over the course of a year, that's a lot of money. I think the spend less on groceries trend tends to stop eating out or using Uber Eats and actually buy groceries. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. We Yeah, that's probably true. Probably true. Yeah, and if you have like an ED, like Tanya's saying, you can't necessarily spend less on your groceries, or you have to spend money on, like, specific types of food if you have allergies or intolerances, of course, yeah, that makes sense. Budget for your life scenario. How to budget to your specific life scenario. We leave no stone unturned, and if we did, email us and we'll get you an answer. Your Hammer budgeting score. Calculate your Hammer budgeting score. Our new score calculator helps you track if you're budgeting correctly. Enroll today. You get comprehensive course content, budgeting spreadsheet, debt payoff calculator, retirement savings calculator, full access to updates of class material, email access to our team for budgeting questions, chapter quizzes to check your learning, Hammer budgeting score calculator, budgeting scenarios section, a chance to participate in a focus group with Caleb, live Q&A on January 9th. So Kemi was right when they said that this is not necessarily for someone making $12,000 a year. But say you I've so some of his guests are making a lot of money, but the debt that they have is just eating into their financial security. So while yes, the people could be making $140,000 a year, if they have $200,000 in student loan debt and credit card debt that is just has like 20% interest rate, they're vulnerable in a different way, right? They're vulnerable in the way that they're not able to truly plan for their financial future. And if you are experiencing debt, I think it's a great idea. If you have debt, I think it's a great idea to want to be more smart with your finances so you can pay off your loans. You can stop eating out all the time. You can make more smart purchases. But I still think if you're trying to get through a significant amount of debt, I don't think that for me personally, I don't think the answer is an online guru who doesn't have a background in financial investments or education or being a financial advisor. Because yes, they still have more money, sure, but budget for your life scenario, everyone has a different amount of debt, right? Like, what if I have $300,000 in debt with 20% interest rate on it? What I'm going to need is different than someone with $20,000 in student loan debt. It's just so unique whether someone is making $12,000 a year or the levels of debt that they have and the interest rates that they have on the debt, that I think, in my opinion, it should be a one on one personalized solution to figure out that person, to help that person figure out how they get out of their debt, right? Exactly. Exactly. It's easy to say, "Oh, it's not much." Over the course of the year, that's a huge amount. Exactly. Yeah, and if it's not free, sometimes you have to pay for good advice. I just want it to be from a professional. So we're gonna look at the videos first. So this is Caleb Hammer's or YouTube channel, and I'm not here in the US that I've found anything worth it. Oh, so there's not free financial advice in the US? That's too bad. Because in lots of cities in Canada, if you go to nonprofits and also government, municipal or provincial governments, they will have courses like this for you for free, and it's run by people who have the background and the education. So I just wanna look at these titles because, like what Mr. Ranger Lab said, the titles are really bad. The titles are really bad, and I really don't like the titles. Let's zoom in. And we'll look at his most recent titles, and then we'll do it from oldest, and we'll see if they're any different. So Gen Z scumbag thinks he's better than me. Financial audit. I was watching this today, and the picture, like the man on the right, like this man's Caleb. The man on the left is Caleb. The man on the right is his guest. The guy was actually nice. He was well spoken. He said he gave himself a 4 for financial knowledge, but obviously didn't know what he was doing, right? But he's not a Gen Z scumbag. He seems like a well-spoken, nice person, right? Pampered princess thinks poverty is easy. Nasty woman deserves jail time. Pink-haired freak makes me lose my mind. Entitled brat is too good for work. I just don't like this. I've been seeing a bunch of shorts from this woman. This makes me sad. 216,000 in debt, but says gambling is more fun than growing up. Gambling's an addiction. Yes, she has huge amounts of debt and just wants to gamble, but that's an addiction. And instead of going on a channel like this, I think she should probably seek help from Gamblers Anonymous or a therapist who specializes in addiction. Because this is probably making it worse for her. We're gonna one more row and then we'll look at the old titles. Most insane person ever. Repulsive sugar baby milks man for money. Finally lost my mind. That's not even a bad one. Disgusting degenerate steals $40,000 from everyone. This walking STD pisses me off. So, yes, these people might not be financially destitute with no money, but they're in debt. They're needing help. They're probably desperate, which is why they're applying to be on the show to begin with. And I don't like the way that people are being portrayed here. Like, He has bitch in his thumbnail. I don't like how people are portrayed. I don't like it. So let's go to oldest and see how his old videos were. My first rental property is a disaster. Best purchase. So it seems like here he's talking about like his investment experience. 26-year-old maxed out has 9 maxed out credit cards. So sharing someone's negative financial background, but doing it in a respectful way, right? End of the middle class. Will inflation destroy the middle class? This person is in $250,000 of student loan debt. And look, he's still getting lots of views without really degrading titles and thumbnails, right? Is Dave Ramsey wrong? It's just interesting to see the comparison. Actual student loan advice, great. Job market collapse. I want to see when it changed. Record inflation. Yeah, like this seems fine, right? It looks like real financial topics. America's auto loan debt. That's great. Like that's probably very educational. 382,000 views, got lots of views. He probably made lots of money on it. And then it just changed. It just changed randomly, and I don't like the change. And let's watch some shorts because you'll see what I mean. And we're just gonna watch a few and see. I do not plan to do this part. I did not plan to watch the shorts, so I don't know what's gonna be in them. But there's gonna be swearing probably, and there's gonna be some yelling. Let me turn this down because it's gonna be loud. But I need you guys to still be able to hear me though.
2015 Chrysler 200. It's a joke of a car.
But it's the nice one though.
No, it's not. It's embarrassing.
It's got the upgraded motor.
It doesn't matter. It's
the upgraded
embarrassing.
interior.
I wouldn't be caught seen looking at a Chrysler 200. Usually well overpriced, especially on used lots.
I got it kind of for a steal. The dealership that I bought it from, they advertised it for a certain price, and then on my contract, they sold it to me for more than what they advertised it for.
Yeah,
so
I got it. Steal. How did you get screwed over? Especially you, car salesman.
It was right after my repo.
Oh, that was a great time to buy a car.
I know.
And after the repo, how'd they approve you of a debt? What's the interest rate on this thing?
24%.
Oh, God. Chrysler 200. 24% on a Chrysler 200. A joke of a car. That's not to insult you.
So that's actually a really tame one. He's not really that bad, but he's still kind of being disrespectful, making a joke out of the fact that he got repoed, saying his car's a joke, that he wouldn't even be caught dead looking at the car, of course. This is a tame one, and I still don't like it. I watched this one earlier. Oh, it's very quiet. I didn't realize it was that quiet, so maybe I can turn myself up. Okay. Moose my kitty says meow purr. Aw, that's nice.
I'm just a dealer who drives a Chrysler 200. Not to insult me.
2015 Chrysler 200.
We're only going to watch a couple.
I enjoy being
I watched this one today too. So let's watch this one and then we'll watch one more and then we'll look at one last thing and then we'll be done.
fun employed.
What did you call it?
Fun employed. I call it fun employed because I get to just do whatever I want to do.
Employed isn't a part of that though. You're not employed to
It's
anything.
not like it's like unemployed but fun employed.
Yeah, being a lazy moocher of your parents. That's what I would call it.
See, I don't like that. Even if she is being a lazy moocher, I don't like if you're a financial professional and someone is in your office and you're seeking advice from that person, you shouldn't be calling them a lazy fucking moocher. There's probably another way to phrase that. Like, I understand you enjoy having free time to explore your hobbies, but you are an adult now and we should be exploring how to ensure you are more financially independent. Let's help create you a personalized action plan where you can get a job to start building up your financial independence, right? I don't like it.
Well, I mean, I know some friends and stuff that just like film videos of themselves just like casually doing stuff.
Yes.
So like,
How do they pay for it? With a job they have?
well, it's not really like a job if you're just like streaming yourself doing
Well,
stuff.
they're getting
and
paid for
people
that.
Yeah.
You're not getting paid for that.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
So I don't give a I'm getting paid for this, but I worked a full-time job until I could pay myself with this. You know?
And Demi said this kind of attitude is how you can tell he's not a professional, because he's portraying himself as a financial professional, and he is giving people advice in a really like disrespectful way. He's not screaming at people here like he does in his videos, but he's not being nice. He's not being respectful. He's not giving actual like calm, reasonable advice. He seems to be questioning people's intelligence instead of giving them the tools that they need to succeed. Yes. Yes, Tanya, I completely agree. What you can't see in his older episodes is what his subscriber count was back then when his channel was catching on. Yes. Yeah. I was watching his old stuff and he was so nice. He was so nice and calm. And he was like what he was in the video that we watched from his sales page. He was so nice, as we could tell by the different titles, where he's just giving advice, talking about interesting financial topics. I completely agree. I really liked his demeanor in his older stuff. I agree, Anastasia. It is rage baity.
Don't just not work, live off of mommy and daddy, acquire no skills or independence, and just be a lazy your entire.
So him saying acquire no skills and independence, that's true, because she's just living off of her parents. Why can't you say, as an adult, we need to build up our skills and independence so we can live independently of our parents, instead of calling her a lazy fuck on YouTube for 1.4 million people to see it? Right? Because there are good things sprinkled out throughout his new videos. There are. But then he throws in you lazy fuck. And he treats people so disrespectfully, and they're just sitting there being like, I don't know. Because the guy that I watched earlier today, he seemed to be playing along with it, but I'm thinking, how does he actually feel? How does he actually feel right now? I don't like it. He sometimes refers to himself as Caleb Springer. Obviously trying to emulate Jerry Springer. Interesting.
Life and hope that people follow you because you're young and pretty with blonde hair.
Yeah,
That's not how life works.
I enjoy being fun employed.
What did you call it?
Fun employed. I call it fun employed because
Okay.
The average person in the United States is. You want to be the.
Okay, this one, he seems to be mad. This will be our last one. Plus, he knows how her life has been up to this point. Yeah, everyone has different personalities. Everyone reacts to certain behaviors in a different way. Like for me, for my trainer, if he yelled in my face and said, lift that thing, you can do it, I would be like, fuck you, don't talk to me. But he learned really quickly, oh, Heather reacts kindly to calm, positive reinforcement. Like when I'm done lifting something heavy, good job. Good form. You looked good, right? Calm, not in my face, quiet tone, right? Not everyone reacts to getting screamed at. Just give financial advice if you want to. Don't scream at me. I don't want to be screamed at, Caleb. Pretty privilege is a real thing, but if her parents are supporting her while she tries to be an influencer, why is he so mad about it? Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what happened to her in her life before that. We don't know what else she's doing, right? Like there was a whole episode about her. So that was just a small snippet. Yeah, like why is he mad if a parent is wants to support their young adult, right? I don't really understand why that would make him so mad. But someone said, yeah, we don't know what her life has been like up to that point. I kind of went on a tangent. We all react to people speaking to us in a different manner, right? We all have different childhoods and different struggles, and some of us may react well to this kind of coaching. Other people could rattle you, could ruin your day, That's what I was trying to get at. She looks super young too. That is the time to fuck around and figure herself out. Exactly.
The average person in the United States, you're going to
No.
use that the average person in the United States is as reason for you being okay to be. That doesn't make any sense. Don't be the average person. Sacrifice. Get the baseline requirement for a decent financial future, and then you wouldn't be in the position where you're borrowing 30% on loans just to survive after you quit a job because you fell asleep at a job, and you took another job, and then you weren't culturally compatible. Pissing me off. I'm sorry. Kind of.
I wasn't living like a freaking monk or minimalist.
If you don't have an emergency fund, and look what happens if you don't. It's worth living like a monk or a minimalist for a second. And
The main gist of what he's saying is not bad. If you're struggling to survive, sacrifice for a bit, live like a monk or a minimalist. That's fine, right? That's fine. Good advice, because sometimes if you're in horrible debt, sometimes maybe you can't go out for dinner once a week with your friends, or you can't get a $7 Starbucks drink. My issue is the delivery. My issue is the delivery. Hey, Natasha, it's lovely to see you. I feel like it's been a while. Welcome to the stream. We're almost done. The yelling and insults are part of his newer shtick. I think that people come on are particularly picked and prepped. Okay, gotcha. So maybe they're not surprised. Well, because they watch his show, so they must know what's going to happen. But maybe knowing what's going to happen and actually being in it is different. It's going to take more than a month or two of budgeting, changing your lifestyle to make a meaningful difference. Yeah. But the gist of what he's saying is not wrong. Just like when a lot of MLM coaches, they'll say things that make sense day to day, or MLM distributors say things that make sense day to day. Like, you're not always going to love everything to do with your job. But if you apply it to the MLM sense, that means, oh, you feel uncomfortable cold messaging everybody, just ignore it, sacrifice, right? So his advice is kind of like that. It's not bad advice. It's just his delivery is terrible. Yes, he does not have a financial background. Yes, as a message I agree with. Agree. Same. I can't speak, sorry. But his bedside manner is demeaning. Exactly. That's my problem.
insulting people who sacrifice in order to get their emergency fund. Fuck off.
I'm
Come
not
on.
insulting them, but I'm just saying, like, the average person is not just gonna live off like.
And guess
live
what?
on
The
the
average
floor.
person in the United States can't pay a $1,000 emergency. The average person in the United States is
The average person not being able to pay off a $5,000 emergency, that's really bad. That's an issue. And why are we yelling at this person about that? Okay, let's look at his intro page. We're almost done. Almost done. How do I get rid of this? Okay. Do you know where your financial health is at? I just clicked the home button. Go away. Caleb helps you take control of your future and live a better life through your finances. Helps you take control. Don't die on the Walmart floor. I don't like that. Financial audit. Welcome to the end of Death Debt. In each episode, Caleb sits down with guests and breaks down complex financial concepts into simple, actionable steps that anyone can follow. I feel like that is not realistic. That's not true. He, in my opinion, yells at people, and sprinkles in a few reasonable statements here and there between the yelling and the swearing. Financial education. Don't want to die on the Walmart floor. Check out one of the best classes on budgeting there is. We already looked at that. And he also has resources. Okay, this is what I wanted to look at. We're almost done. We're just going to read this so we see like who Caleb is, and then we'll be done. It would have been smart to do this at the beginning, but I forgot. My financial journey started fresh out of high school when I was in loads of debt. We're talking private student loans, family debt, insane car debt, and credit card debt fueled by McDonald's. Fair, I love McDonald's. Oh no, my face is freezing. Camera off. I hope you can still hear me. Not being able to afford $1,000 emergency is not going to be solved by cutting out an occasional meal with friends or something. I agree, but I think what he's saying is reasonable in the sense that making a lot of smaller changes could potentially lead to improvements in your financial situation down the road. Like reducing the amount of time you go out to eat from 3 to once a week. It's not going to make a difference in a month, but in a year it might. Okay, Tanya can hear me. That's good. Over the next few years, there should be a comma, I developed a passion for finance and went on a mission to eradicate all of this debt from my life through saving, investing, and developing in my career, obsessing over the topic and taking in as much information as I could. From there, I decided to start my YouTube channel and see if I could help others do the same. What I didn't know is that people would enjoy watching it and I'd film over 500 episodes. Now my mission is to have conversations that I wish someone had with me over a decade ago, not just through my YouTube channel, but through my programs, resources, and free newsletter. Am I frozen? Am I frozen? No, I am not frozen. So we did see that his qualifications for providing financial advice on the internet. My connection sucks. I'll take myself off. For providing financial advice on the internet is not that he actually has financial education, but that he got himself out of debt. So just like how Daniel Ryan has told us, lots of people who are business coaches, who are life coaches, they've gone through specific financial or mental health struggles in their life, business journeys in their life. And because they went through something, that means they have the resources, the qualifications. I know I'm being sarcastic, but they have the qualifications to teach other people, right? And just because we're able to get ourselves out of debt does not mean that we should be charging others to help them get out of debt too. Because I lost 50 pounds years ago, right? If someone asks me about how I lost weight, I'll tell them, sure, but I'm not going to charge people for my weight loss knowledge just because I was able to lose some weight several years ago, right? I was able to improve my financial security after school, but that does not mean that I'm going to charge people for my financial advice, right? What do you guys think? If he's truly caring about, let's say, Gen Z, he'd just be posting all of his knowledge for free. But I think the catchy titles and the crazy thumbnails, it draws people's attention and it probably gets him a lot more views. He wants someone who can't afford $1,000 emergency to pay for his course. Exactly. Because the people who are paying for his course, they're not necessarily financially destitute, but they are people who may be making a reasonable amount of money, but interest on all of their debt is fucking them over. So they're in a vulnerable mental state and also financial state, because if you have debt looming over your head, it's hard to plan for your financial future. Maybe you can't put a down payment on a house. Maybe you can't start your education fund for your kids, right? Because you have debt looming over your head. So they are financially vulnerable and they are potentially mentally vulnerable as well. And I don't like that people who are in a not great state are coming on to his page and are being treated poorly, because I think there's a big difference between hard love. What's that word? Hard love, someone just being like really hard and like being really strict with you, and someone yelling at you and telling you to fuck off. Because you can have someone be strict, be like, look, you need to do ABC or this bad thing is going to happen to you. There's a big difference between that and someone calling you a fucking loser. Tough love. There you go. What did I say? Hard love or something? Sorry. It's like, what's the word? Tough love. Yes. Oh, it was getting glitchy. Sorry. I could tell. People need to be taught how to handle debt and ways to avoid letting it get out of control. Too many young people aren't taught that and then just get credit cards and go wild. Exactly. I'm not saying that's everyone's situations. It obviously isn't, but it's something I hear from people a lot. Yes, tough love. Big difference between tough love and someone calling you names and swearing at you, you know? Okay, that was a fun one. That's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your opinions if you have different opinions about Caleb than what we were talking about. My main opinions, the root of his financial advice is not bad. I just wish his delivery was different. I wish he had financial education to back this up. Because when we're dealing with people's retirement funds, with people's debt, I feel like there should be education to back it up. That's all I have. Oh, you liked the chat? Yay! Love that. I'm glad you liked it. My mom got me a credit card with a tiny available balance when I was 16 to teach me how to use one responsibly. Really, so I'd stop bugging her to use hers to buy musical tickets. I love that. That's funny. Yay! Woohoo! Thank you. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining me. It was great to have this many people. I hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.